Okay, we're going to call Senate Judiciary to order. We are being televised. Madam Clerk, please call the roll to establish quorum.
Chairman Jones?
Here.
Senator Shoemaker? Here. Senator Rocca? Here. Senator Emmons? Senator Bito?
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 members present. There is a quorum.
I'll make a motion to adopt the February 6, 2018 committee meeting minutes. Without objection, they are adopted. The first bill on the agenda is Senate Bill 713, Senator Marlowe. And would you introduce your guest too, please?
Mr. Chairman and fellow senators, thank you for taking up the time to take up my legislation, Senate Bill 713. We are very excited to be here with this before you today. I am happy to have here today on my right Kerri Kasem, daughter of Michigan's own radio legend Casey Kasem, and Robert on my left. Anderson is the elder law attorney and chief writer of this legislation. Since Casey Kasem passed, Kerri has worked diligently on legislation throughout the United States that would protect loved ones from elder abuse like what her father experienced. And with that, I will have Robert talking to you about Senate Bill 713, and Kerri will talk to you about her experience with her father. And once again, I want to thank you for taking this up today, Senate Bill 713, for testimony today, and I will have Kerri lead off and talk to us about the experience that she had with her father.
Hello, good afternoon, committee members and Senator Jones. I am so honored to be here in front of you. You can make a huge difference in so many people's lives. My father, when he got sick enough, was taken from us by his wife. She actually said, "You're not going to see your father anymore." Those were her words after months of trying to get in to see my dad. My father and I, my brother, my sister, my dad's brother who is here today, my aunt, all my family members, my dad's friends and coworkers could not see him. He was completely isolated and blocked. He had Parkinson's and Lewy body dementia. And when he got sick enough, his wife blocked him from all his friends, family members, any communication at all to the outside world. I called the police, and they could not help us because he was in a residential home, and his wife didn't want us in there. I called Adult Protective Services, and they could do nothing as well. So I went to court, and I thought, well, I'm just going to tell the judge. We see my dad every week. I talk to him every day on the phone. We can't get a hold of him. We just want to see him. I soon realized that in this country, as soon as you turn 18 years old, you have absolutely no rights to visitation to your parents, especially when they're ailing and they cannot speak for themselves or they have very limited mobility. My fight cost me and my family a lot of time, a lot of money, and those are things that people don't have. We had a famous last name. People knew my dad. And we had the money to fight as much as we possibly could in court. My fight cost $350,000. Most people don't have enough money for a retainer to a lawyer, much less fight a power of attorney or guardianship. So the bill that you have in front of you is common sense. It just allows a judge to rule on visitation. It's that simple. This is a human right. My father's human rights were violated. My extremely close family was torn apart. My father told the judge, "I want to see my kids." My father told the judge, "I want my kids to take care of me." But that was not possible because there was no law in place for the judge to rule on visitation. She said, "Casey Kasem wants to see his kids. Now go out in the hallway and figure it out." We didn't see him until I won that fight 4 months later, when I could prove elder abuse. I won guardianship over my father. Most people don't. There are people in the audience here that can't see their family members, haven't seen them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, because there's an uncooperative caretaker. We need a bill in place to stop this elder abuse. It starts with isolation, because once you isolate, you can over-medicate, you can steal the estate, and then you cremate. I've been doing this 4.5 years. That is the pattern that we have seen. We have never asked for money, not one time. We just asked for visitation. That is all. And that's all we ask you to do. It's a common sense law. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I think you have my written testimony.
We do.
There, okay. I'm Robert Anderson, elder law attorney from the Upper Peninsula, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 713, who I helped to draft with Senator Marlowe's staff. My testimony is on behalf of Kerri Kasem and the Kasem Foundation. The cause of fighting abuse and exploitation against aging, vulnerable people has been a passion of mine throughout my 35 years of practicing elder law in Michigan's Upper Peninsula and in Wisconsin, where I also am licensed. I have law degrees from both Michigan State University and Georgetown University, and I'm one of Michigan's 19 certified elder law attorneys. I was first alerted to the issue of isolation abuse when I attended the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys Conference in Atlanta, where we heard live testimony from Mickey Rooney. And in that testimony, he described how he was isolated by his, I think, 7th wife and one of her sons, how they stole his estate. In fact, today, we have Mickey Rooney's daughter has come to visit us today. But it was when I heard Kerri Kasem speak at the 2017 Wisconsin Elder Law Conference that I really decided to take action, when she dramatically, as you heard today, learned about her father's story. I might add that at Kerri's urging, the state of Wisconsin did go forward a 1.5 years ago and institute and adopt their own family visitation law, and became the 11th state to do so, and now we have 12 states with Arkansas. And I believe there's even more states after that, I think.
9 have adopted laws that are similar.
Okay.
But they're not, we didn't go out and testify for them, but they passed them.
Great, great. Well, the national trend, senators, is announced by the ABA Commission on Aging, which is in favor of visitation legislation, as is the Uniform Law Commission. These trends and these laws support the fundamental right of a person who's aging to exercise their fundamental First Amendment right of association, which includes the right to communicate and visit with those of your choice, especially when we're dealing with family members who are close and other friends, even though frailty and mental decline may make that person defenseless and unable to speak up for their own rights. The law gives recognition of the rights of vulnerable children to visit both parents when there's a divorce. And the law recently gave long overdue recognition of the rights of young, vulnerable female gymnasts to be free from wrongful abuse by a team physician. Now, Senate Bill 713 provides practical tools to allow vulnerable aging persons to combat abusive isolating by providing a visitation remedy in the probate court. There is no doubt that isolation of vulnerable adults in Michigan is a serious problem and is a form of elder abuse. I've been seeing this for 35 years. And you know, senators, when there's the smoke of exclusion and isolation, there is often the fire of financial exploitation and physical abuse. Here's several other important reasons why Senate Bill 713 makes sense. You know, there are far too many full-blown guardianship proceedings in the probate court whose purpose is not to benefit the declining parent, but rather either to prevent certain family members from visiting with a parent or allow excluded family members to have that visitation. For example, we see in the recent case of in-ray guardianship of Dorothy Red, the first case that I'm aware of where these issues of isolation and family visitation came to a head. Senate Bill 713 provides a simpler petition route than just guardianship or removing the guardianship, and as a result, full-blown guardianships can be reduced. Now, a full-blown guardianship also strips away a declining person's personal freedoms and rights. So by allowing a single-issue visitation proceeding without the loss of rights, we can better preserve the aging person's independence, autonomy, and those precious freedoms. Senate Bill 713 is patterned after model legislation developed by the Kasem Foundation legal team into appropriate parts of the Estates and Protected Individuals Code, or EPIC, as we attorneys call it. Representative Lucido has offered a House bill which similarly addresses, but only the guardianship situation. You see, Senators, most of these isolation abuse situations happen outside of the guardianship, in the homes and with the powers of attorney when there is no guardianship. 713 also contains language that prevents the bad faith petitioner whose purposes in visiting a declining parent are to cause emotional harm and financial exploit the parent. Senate Bill 713 allows persons who are in control, who are in good faith, to offer the court proof of the bad faith of the petitioner for the visitation. It allows the court to limit or supervise visitation in those cases. Now, Senate Bill 713 will never receive the full support of the bar, but most attorneys and elder law attorneys will agree that abusive isolation of vulnerable adults in Michigan is a serious problem, but to get them to agree on any one specific fix in legislation will never happen. Since we sent the draft of this bill in August with Senator Marlowe's staff, we've had the issuance by the Court of Appeals of the now famous Dorothy Red case, in which visitation was the big issue. And the Court of Appeals affirmed the probate court in trying to get the whole family to be able to have the visitation. But you know, the Court of Appeals complained that Section 5310 of EPIC contains no grounds describing under what conditions a guardian should be removed. So the court invented its own criteria by holding that visitation with family members promotes a ward's social well-being, which makes complete sense. And that isolation, that person who is isolating is no longer suitable to serve as a guardian. This is why I have written additional proposed language to Section 5310, which includes the Red Court's language. I've also prepared several other proposals to improve Senate Bill 713 in response to some of the concerns by the probate judges and other members of the bar. Attached, you will see the proposed improvements that I have drafted since last August. And most importantly, I would like to draw your attention to Circuit Judge of Macomb County, Carl Marlinga, who is a circuit judge, but used to be a probate judge, and is one of the most respected members of probate judges in Michigan, in his full support for 713. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing this bill forward. I, too, had a situation where a lady I've known for many, many years was kidnapped by her son, taken to Vegas, over-medicated so he could steal her money and gamble it away, while her two daughters here spent their life savings to get her back. And by the time they got her back, everything was gone. So I understand completely what you're dealing with. Do we have any questions? I see none. Thank you. Okay, now I have a whole stack of cards, so I'm going to ask everybody else, I need you to limit it, I'm sorry, but 2 to 3 minutes, because I want to get everybody a chance, but we have work to get done here, so I need to get through this.